Right lads, here we are. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to 10 teams to manage on Football Manager 2020. So I know these videos are everyone's cup of tea. They are mine. I did one last year for the first time. It ended up being and still is actually, my biggest viewed video on my channel. I think it's nearly 30,000 views. It really helped my channel grow. Loads of new subscribers came across as well from it. So I thought, you know what? I'll do another one. So here it is. Now, first thing, I have a FM20 giveaway included in this video. So all I want you to do to be in the chance of winning a copy, all I want you to do is down in the comments, just put which teams you're looking forward to managing in 2020. I've got an absolute list. This is probably why I like to do these 10 teams to manage videos, because there's so many teams out there that I could possibly pick. So let me know down in the comments if you want to put reasons. Go for it. If you just want to keep it short and be in the chance of winning the competition, then just put the teams. Second thing, now I was planning on doing this on Gleam, where it was going to be open to only to my subscribers. I can't no longer do that. So what I'm going to do is the competition winner will be announced on my communities page on my channel. Now there will be a little video. It won't be a public video. It'll be classed as an unlisted video, and I will be posting it on my channel page. And I'm not going to tell you when the competition ends. It is going to be open the full time in September, so I'll give you a little clue there. It's going to be sometime in October it'll close. All I need you really to do, if you've entered the competition, just drop that subscribe button, and that will mean when my video announcement comes up for the winner, you'll be able to see it. It's as simple as that. And you never know. I've got loads of stuff going on the channel for FM20, and it'd be great if you could stay subscribed. Right, so if you're not lucky enough to be the winner, don't worry. I have a nice little discount code for you now, courtesy of Dupe, who's part of the WeStream FM team. He has got his own 2-game affiliate link. Now, all his proceeds of his commission earned is going to a charity called Bliss, which is the leading charity for sick and premature babies. So I thought, I haven't got a link myself. Other content creators are sort of like making a bit of cash out of it, but Dupe is doing it for Bliss. So I thought, there you go. Down in the comments, some people might not be aware that you can get it a lot cheaper on 2Game than you can on Steam. Links down below. You also help out a great cause by also getting the game. Right, enough of that. Let's get in to 10 teams to manage on Football Manager. So we're going across 10 nations. Little rules from last year. I'm not including the 20 teams that I mentioned last year, so don't scream at the end of the video saying, you haven't put Bolton in it. I had Bolton in it last year, and every man and his dog will probably want to be Bolton this year, so I've just kept away from that. If you have got any other suggestions of teams in the countries that I've mentioned and you've got a better idea, then by all means, bang it in the comments below. There was hundreds of comments last year of people telling me what I'd done right, what I'd done wrong, what they thought. Absolutely fine. Put it down in the comments. So, team number 1, we're going to start at home. We are starting in England. It is Bradford City. Sky Bet League 2. Now, numerous reasons. Used to be a Premier League team not so long ago, and they've been up and down between sort of like the Championship, League 1 and League 2 over the last sort of like 10 years. Relegated to League 2 last year. They've had a couple of difficult owners over the time. They've managed to get into cup finals, and they've managed to beat teams like Chelsea in the FA Cup. I think they got to the Carabao Cup a few years ago, losing to Swansea. And this season, they find themselves in League 2. Now, they will be one of the favourites for the year. I think it's a good save because I think you can soon get out of League 2. Their stadium is pretty big. It's about 25,000 capacity, which for a Tier 4 club is pretty good. I think you've got I don't think the facilities are very good. I went to watch Bradford City train when they were in the Premier League the first day that they signed Stan Collymore, and they were training at a school, on a school pitch. It looked like a scene from Kes. So I don't know how much the training facilities have actually improved since then. I imagine they have, because that was a good, probably 10, 15 years ago. But a little bit of work, but they've got the basis. They've also got James Vaughan. I think he was the club captain. Picked him up from Wigan. They also have Hope, Akpan, and they also have Clayton Donaldson. So you've got a decent strike force up there with Donaldson and James Vaughan. And they also have players like Joe Riley. I'm pretty sure he was at Man United. And they also have Sean Scannell as well, player that's played in higher league. So, not a hard one. I think you'd be quite easily get yourself up into the Championship, and then it's getting that club big enough and strong enough to tackle the Championship and the Premier League. So that's the first one, Bradford City. Now, the next one on the list, a little bit of a cheat. It is Anzhi in Russia. A lot of you will know they burst onto the scene after being bought out by a Dagestani billionaire. He built them a new stadium, brought in some massive players. Samuel Eto'o, Yuri Zhirkov, Roberto Carlos, Christoph Samba was one. I think Willian played at a certain time. Diego Tardelli, Lassana Diarra. And at one point they also had Gus Hiddink in charge. Now in 2019 they actually find themselves in the 3rd division. Now the owner slowly started to make budget cuts in about 2013. So not long after it sort of like bought the club, maybe 2 years into the big project. And then the slow dwindle of demise, which finally saw them relegated in 2014. They did bounce back in 2015, finishing second in the sort of like the second tier. And then they had a couple of 3 seasons in the league where they sort of like just avoided relegation, finishes of 13th, 12th and 14th. And then relegation last season down into the second tier. Now, unfortunately, the club in 2019, after relegation, failed the Russian Football Union licensing for the season. They lodged an appeal which wasn't successful, and they've been demoted down into the 3rd tier, which is pretty much a semi-professional tier. So all the sort of like the players left, and they're basically at the moment they're relying on under 20 players. So what a chance, what an opportunity to get the club back in the big time. Cracking badge, cracking kit, decent stadium, only built in 2013. He did pump and build him a new stadium, so the money is there. The infrastructure is there. Now the club is under new ownership. It's been under new ownership. I don't know what it's going to be like in the game. Remember, you're after a 3rd tier. I am going to be playing this save, hopefully in the new year. So I'm just waiting on a database. There will be a database that will pop up. That is the only team, Anzhi, that are not in the original start game. But I thought I'd put them in because it's an interesting story. A team that sprung to life a few years ago, sort of like 5 or 6 years ago, and then I've had a very quick demise, and you've got to get them back up from the bottom. So there it is, Anzhi, team number 2. Right, team number 3, we're heading back to the UK, and we're looking at Dundee United in Scotland. Now, I picked these for a couple of reasons. Once again, I think Scotland's going to be a hard one to crack long term. Trying to, I suppose, get past the teams of sort of like Hearts, Hibs, Aberdeen and Rangers, and then obviously after that you've got to tackle Celtic. They've got a bit of history. In the 80s doing pretty well, reaching the European Cup semi-finals in the 1983-84 season, and then getting to the final of the UEFA Cup in 1987. They do find themselves in the Championship, the 2nd tier. They have signed someone who will bag you goals, and that is Lawrence Shankland. I think a lot of people have already used him in FM19. He will no doubt score you plenty of goals. And just, a team, it's a club that really should be in the Premier League. 15,000 seat stadium. They've just struggled of late. They've been in it, four seasons, I think now. I think you'll be able to get out the Championship, no problem. And then it'll just take time to see if you can finally overtake Celtic. Obviously, their budget is going to be huge compared. But, Dundee United. Give it a go. I think this one is the one for opening, very much open to interpretation. If you've got a better Scottish team, let me know down in the comments. But I've just gone for Dundee. I think it'd be a pretty good challenge. Short term, get them into the Premier League, and then long term, can you topple Celtic? Right, on to the next one. Team number 4. We're moving to Spain, Andorra, because we're going for FC Andorra. Now, the biggest team in Andorra, which I suppose doesn't take a lot, they are now in the 3rd tier. Their first time since 1998. A little bit different because if you're not up on your Andorran and lower league Spanish football, Gerard Piqué, the Barcelona centre half, his group or consortium are in charge of the club. They've got a little bit of money behind them. They've got the biggest bank as their sponsor in Andorra. They got in with a little bit of luck. They paid a reported fee of about €450,000 to replace a club called Royce after they failed to play their players. So they got in on a bit of a technicality, but they're in there. The club is tiny. Now, their stadium that they've been playing in has a capacity of 530 people. So it's going to be a big project. The third tier, by the way, in Spain is so difficult to get out to. Even if you win the league, I think there's like 3 leagues. I think even if you win the league, you've still got to play in a playoff. I'm sure that was the case when I played FM18 with my Mallorca save. I'm pretty sure that's the case. So big ass challenge, but a little bit of fun. You've got an owner or a director in Gerard Piqué, a club that's got in a technicality. I imagine they've actually started not too bad. Only 2 games in, 1 win, 1 defeat. You're going up against teams like Hercules, who you might remember, and there's Villarreal, sort of like second team Espanyol, second team Barcelona, second team Levante, second team Valencia, second team. So potentially you're going to have a really, really tough ask of getting out of that league. And as I said, there is actually 4 groups, my bad, not 3, and then the winners and playoffs and all that kind of stuff. It's a bit of a stinker, but if you're wanting an ultimate challenge of getting FC Andorra out of that division into the La Liga and then toppling the big 3 of the 2 Madrids and Barcelona, give it a go. It's an idea that I've wanted to maybe do. It's maybe just come a year too early for me. Potentially something that I might look at a year down the line. If you are giving Andorra a go, because I already know 2 guys that are, let me know down in the comments. Maybe join my little Discord group and yeah, keep me updated. Right. Moving across to Germany, and we are going with my beloved FM18 FC Magdeburg. Now, a team that were made famous in the 17s for beating AC Milan and winning a European Cup Winners' Cup. And then, with the reformation of Germany, the team joined sort of like the German football system and found themselves in sort of like Tier 5, Tier 4, have floated through the leagues. They've managed to be on a bit of an upward turn. So the 2017-18 season, they got out of the 3rd tier and got themselves into Bundesliga 2, but they only managed 1 season down there, back down into the 3rd tier. Now, I think it's a save that you'll be able to do if you like the German football, your German saves. It's got all the bases. There's lots of money around in the Bundesliga as well. So once you get in there, Magdeburg's quite a big, well-supported club. I think the stadium's got about 30,000. They've got a big support, very passionate. I think they're called Block U. Did my FM80. My first series on the channel was FC Magdeburg. Just a little bit different. A lot of you might not have heard of FC Magdeburg or aware that they used to be pretty good in East Germany and obviously beat AC Milan in the 70s for the Cup Winners' Cup. So yeah, give them a go. FC Magdeburg in Germany. There's no reason why you can't get them up. I got them up when we were challenging for the title. Never actually won it in sort of like the 10 seasons that I did it. But I'm pretty sure it's doable. Right, across to Turkey, and we are looking at Fenerbahce. Multiple reasons for this. Obviously, a little bit different league. I've never actually managed in Turkey. Fenerbahce is potentially a team that I might look at towards the end, sort of like round the time that I started my Madrid and my Flamengo saving, sort of like April, May time, as one to finish on. They finished 6th last year, which you might say, yeah, it's not too bad, but that was pretty shocking for them. Flirted with relegation for a lot of it as well. They haven't won the title since 2014, so 5 years without a win. Absolute money problems left, right and centre. They have got an heir of the wealthiest family in Turkey who's replaced the longest serving president, who let the club spiral into a debt of £621 million, it says. So there's going to be a bit of work to do. Obviously, they've got loads of money to spend in their personal wealth, but with the FFP, they're struggling to really make a quick and immediate return to the top table of even Turkish football. Now, they've got in Damian Comoli as sporting director, so he's made some key signings for you to start with, including the 35 Emre. Most of you remember him from his time in Newcastle. Matthias Jorgensen, which I think they know as Yanka, the centre-half from Huddersfield. Max Cruz is there. I think Victor Moses still might be there, I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me on that. You've also got Luis Gustavo, from the Brazilian from Marseille, he's there. Obviously, I don't think there's any European football for you either this year, so you've got time to really focus on the league. And obviously, Galatasaray are pretty strong. They've got Steven Nzonzi, Mario Lemina, Jean-Michel Seri, Yunus Belanda, Ryan Babel, Sofiane Feghouli, Emre Mor, Falcao, Florian Antoine, who's on loan from Brighton. So you have got your work cut out, short term and long term, with his Fenerbahce save. So there you go, Turkish team, Fenerbahce. Right, moving across to Italy. I've obviously missed one big player out of my little screenshot. I've had these in my head for a while. I did these before the transfer window had finished. Obviously, Fiorentina have got Frank Ribery, so that's adding to having Chiesa and Kevin Prince, who's right there in the picture. Now, I've gone for Fiorentina, mainly because the Italian league is getting so strong. I was undecided whether to pick these and AC Milan for one of my Let's Play series. I just think they're a fascinating club. Obviously, they've had to work themselves back through the leagues after they were bankrupt in 2002. I think they ended up in like the 4th tier and made it up pretty quickly back through the leagues. I was quite surprised that they've only won the league Serie A twice, in 1956 and 1969. They won the Coppa Italia in 2001, Champions League runners-up. They won the UEFA Cup Winners' Cup in 1960. They've won absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. And for a club of their size, now you remember the players that they've had through. Just go through these players that Fiorentina have had over the years. Gabriel Batistuta, not a bad one to start. Roberto Baggio, Rui Costa, Ricardo Montalivo played so many games. Juan Cuadrado, Alberto Gilardino, Luca Toni, Stefan Schwartz, obviously David Astori, Enrique Chiesa, Joaquim, Stefan Effenberg, Nuno Gomez. Still got Giovanni Simeone, Asamoah Gyan, Nakata, Brian Laudrup, Andrei Kanchelskis, Socrates, Adriano the striker, Kevin Morales. They've had a lot of players, famous players, and not done anything with it. Now, your current squad, I think you've got half a chance with. Now, I think the best thing about Italy at the moment is it's going to be so competitive. I know you've got Juventus, but underneath that, you've got Napoli, Roma, Inter, AC Milan, Atalanta in Europe. I think they potentially might have a more difficult season, but you've got the basis of a really good short term. Obviously, you need to get acting fast, because I think players like, obviously, Frank Ribery, Kevin Prince Boateng haven't got a great deal left in them. Federico Chiesa as well. He will probably be down the road if you don't do something quickly. Nikola Milenkovic, the centre-half as well. Another player that I think big clubs will probably come chasing in FM20. A little bit disappointing. You haven't got Alban Lafont. Now, he's only on loan at Nantes, so hopefully in 2 years' time you can get him back. You've got a young striker in Pedro, signed from Fluminense in Brazil. And yeah, and on Bobby Duncan. Who could forget Bobby Duncan, the Liverpool superstar? So yeah, you've got a bit of work to do, but a club like Fiorentina not winning hardly any trophies. I couldn't believe that when I saw it. So there you go, Fiorentina. I think Italy's going to be a popular destination for a lot of people. I think down in the comments there'll be a lot of people putting where they're heading. Me myself, I'm heading back there for FM20, and I'm doing a little Let's Play with AC Milan. Similar sort of level to Fiorentina, I would say. They had a very poor season though, did Fiorentina last year. Finishing 16th, just a couple of places above relegation. So there's a fair bit of work for you to do. And who can forget the kit? Get the kit pack sorted. You'll be up and running, that lovely purple. Right, let's move on to the next one. Flamengo. Now, if you are new to the channel or you don't follow my Flamengo series, I've been running one for the past couple of months. In terms of how hard it is, it hasn't been too hard. I think I'm in my third season now, and we're going to win the league all 3 times. And we've done pretty well in the Copa Libertadores as well. Now, the idea behind this is that if you've not managed in Brazil before, and especially Flamengo, you've got a great opportunity to develop youth. Now, my save isn't going to last long enough to do that. But if you're after a little youth development challenge, Flamengo could be the way to go. I have played, in my last season, the second season, I played 88 competitive games. I play in Brazil. They have state championships at the start of the season. The Rio State Championship is the biggest of the lot. You play 20 odd games before you've even kicked a ball in the league. So it's great prep. You have to pretty much have 30 players, because it is literally Saturday, Wednesday from January all the way through to December. It's pretty brutal. You've got players like Diego, the guy that was in Germany, I think for Wolfsburg at the time. Gabriel Barbosa on loan from Inter Milan. He will score you so many goals in the league. He's the guy that's pictured there. You've got, I think it's Aracita, which is an Uruguayan, off the top of my head. I could be wrong. I'm sure he's Uruguayan. Good playmaker, inside forward. Bruno Henrique, good winger. I think they've signed Filipe Luis as well, the left back who was at Chelsea for a bit and mainly at Atletico Madrid. But yeah, I think you could really get, because the amount of games and obviously the level that you play at for a lot of the time in the Brazilian league and in the state championship, you've got a real opportunity of developing youth there. So if you like a bit of a youth development challenge, you want to try something new. I've really enjoyed this save. Just a shame FM19's coming to an end. If I'd have known at the start, I'd have probably kept this seat. I would have probably done it for the full duration and really worked on youth development. So if you like a little youth development challenge and potentially getting them players into your first team, what I've done is I haven't sold anyone and I've managed to bring in Brazilian players myself. So we've got David Luiz, Thiago Silva. I've brought in the two Rafinhas, David Neres. We've brought in some quality. That with the mixture of youth, can you then sell on players and get them across into Europe? I think that will probably be the goal for a lot of people in FM, playing a save with Flamengo. So there you go. Flamengo, give it a go. You should be able to dominate. But as I said, if you're really wanting to then get the youth in, Flamenco's the perfect place. Right, into France. Olympique de Marseille. Now, I think a short-term save. I think potentially you could do it pretty quickly. They haven't had great success at all. They've spent a lot of money over the last few years and nothing's come of it. They've now got Andre Villas-Boas in charge. You've got players like Kevin Strootman, Dimitri Payet, Dario Benedetto, Morgan Sanson's an interesting youngster, Florent Ovin, Maxime Lopez, Steven Mandanda's still there as well, Jordan Amavi, the left back who used to be at Villa, Sakai, the right back, Japanese right back. You've got the base there of a very good team. Now it's going to take time to overtake PSG, but I think the good thing about this save is that no matter how strong you make Marseille, you're not always going to be able to dominate, because I think PSG in FM generally keep throwing money year after year after year after year. So you've always going to have a really good solid challenge there, and you've also got other clubs. You've got Lyon. Hopefully you probably see a bit of a resurgence of Monaco as well. You could go Monaco, but they've had a lot of success over the last few years. Marseille, on the other hand, have only won one league in the 2000s. That was back in 2010. They've won 2 league titles in 30 years. So pretty much, 30 years? Yeah, nearly 30 years. A lot of work to be done. Getting in the Champions League. I know the French league isn't the richest one in Europe, but once you get Champions League football, I think you'll be fine. Short term, back in the Champions League, challenging, can you topple PSG? And then I think you can make the save as long as you want, because you've always got that little battle with PSG every single season. Now, final team, we're moving over to Holland, and this is FC Utrecht. Now, I've gone for these because FC Utrecht have been in the league themselves as Utrecht for 49 years, and they've never won the league. They haven't been in it. They haven't been relegated at all. They've been in it all this time, and they've never won it. Now, they did quite well over the last few seasons, finishing 5th in 2018, and then in 2019 finishing 6th. So you're not a million miles away. Obviously, you've got the big boys to contend with, and obviously Ajax are very, very strong. I've just gone for these mainly because they haven't won anything. Now, they did have, the history of the club is a little bit mixed. There's a league title which the club won back in 1958, but the club was known as VV DOS, and then they combined with two or three other teams, I think. But as FC Utrechters themselves, they have not won the league. They've won the cup 3 times: 1985, 2003, 2004. current squad, you've got Vaclav Černý, or is it Černý, the guy who is pictured in the photo on the right hand side. Ajax wonder kid from a few years ago, probably FM17 probably, he was probably classed as a wonder kid. You've got him who plays as a winner, and then you've also got Jean-Christophe Babek, who was a French wonder kid at the time. PSG just has had a lot of injuries, and you've got him there. Plenty of pace, a little bit of quality up there. You've also got Urbi Emanuelson, who's the dreadlocked, I think he played like centre midfield or left-hand side, maybe a left midfielder, left winger. He's been around, he was at Roma, he's been at AC Milan, Sheffield Wednesday for a bit. You've got him in there, so there's plenty of experience. There's not too many other players that I recognise. Captain William Jensen's been there a long time. It'll be a bit of a challenge, but I know a lot of people like to go into Netherlands and do sort of like a youth development challenge and bring through youth. Perfect place to do it. FC Utrecht. Another one that I would like to give a go at some point in FM20 if I get a chance. So there you have it. 10 teams. Let me know your thoughts. I said not everyone's going to have different ideas, and I think the Italian one you could pick God knows how many teams. The English one you could pick God knows how many teams. Let me know in the comments if you are planning on managing any of those 10 teams. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. Stick around on the channel. We've got Dortmund coming as a beta. Manchester United Let's Play, and that will also be on my Sunday night weekly streams. We're doing an AC Milan sort of like weekly Let's Play as well. And we've also got my beloved York City non-league to Premier League series starting in November when FM20 drops. Thank you very much for watching. Drop a like if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe if you are new. Come and join my Discord. It's down in the comments below. Remember that FM20 competition. And don't forget about Dupe's link as well if you're not lucky enough to win the copy of Football Manager 2020. I've been the Trequartista, and we will see you hopefully very soon. Cheers, guys.